everybody, it's LavenderTowne, and right before this video gets started, I just wanted to say that my very first live stream is going to be happening a couple hours after this video is posted. The exact time is 6 p.m. PST, so if you want to hang out with me live, then you can do that. There's a link in the description. Thank you so much for listening. Let's get on to the video. Okay, so many of you know I'm actually in school for character design right now, and along the way I have had to break a lot of bad habits. Things that I used to do all the time are now some of my most major pet peeves in the art world, so I'm basically just going to create a character who encapsulates almost all of those things. I'm going to design her only with keeping in mind what sort of 15-year-old Haley thought was cool, and put really no thought into her story. So of course she can't come out of this with two matching eyes. She definitely needed either a differently colored eye or an eye patch. I chose the eye patch. I also gave her that weird half fishnet thing that they put on Naruto characters. Yeah, so basically I'm going to be talking about all my little pet peeves and things that I am tacking onto this character before going over how I actually design characters now. Belts, for example, as I just drew, that don't attach to anything, don't hold anything up, and are just pretty much totally decorative and useless. Those I used to do all the time, and now they drive me crazy. Looking at you, Final Fantasy. I also used to put either angel or devil wings on all my characters, or when I was feeling especially teen angsty and cliche, I would put one of each to show this character's inner turmoil or something. Also arm warmers all over characters. Basically every single one of my characters, no matter what their story was or their personality, kind of looked like they just walked out of either an anime convention or a Hot Topic. And even though I love both of those things, that's not the way I would generally design a character anymore. Having gone to school for it, and also just having really studied it for a long time, I have a totally new method that I highly recommend instead for designing characters if you're actually wanting to do like a narrative and not just make something that looks cool. Because again, just piling cool things on top of each other can actually work if all you're looking to do is make a cool illustration. But if you are going to use this character in some kind of narrative, what I would usually say is don't even start with the visual stuff. Just start asking questions about the character first. So the first thing you want to decide is if they're from a hot or cold area, what their personality is, their job, and just overall like who this character is and where they came from. So because this character is from a cold climate, I'm going to make sure that she can actually survive. So I'm giving her a fluffy hood, a nice little muffler, and I'm basically just giving her things that will show that she's from a cold climate. I decided this is a cold and wet climate, which means her outfit has to slightly change. I'm going to start adding waterproof elements to her design as well as ones that will keep her warm. There's some things that you can sort of pick just aesthetically, whether your character is outwardly feminine or masculine. So my character is going to be a bit girly. Her job is a magical girl, so we know she is active. And I'm doing a little bit of Sailor Moon homage with the high pigtails. I turned them into braids because I thought if she's dealing with a lot of wet snow, it would probably mat up her hair and not make her able to move as easily in her magical girl job. So I gave her braids just to keep that out of her face. And I'm giving her a cute little fluffy dress that looks warm and thick. I'm also going to give her some nice snow boots so that her feet don't freeze. Already, you might notice, and I actually noticed listening back to the recording, my approach to this character has completely changed. When I was talking about how I was designing the first character, I was talking about things that I like, things that are cool, and now, or that I used to like anyway, now I'm talking about this character as if she actually exists and actually has like needs and problems, and that is the simplest way you can make your character seem real. So, like, for example, she probably needs a bag to hold her stuff in if she's going on adventures. I changed it from a side bag to a backpack, both to keep it closer to her body if she's flying around doing magical girl stuff, and also because many magical girls are students, and that, again, can help tell her story. Now we know more about her age, perhaps. So that, again, is something that actually helps inform us about her. I'm adding an animal element just to compare to how I sort of haphazardly added animal elements to my first character. I'm going to do it with more consideration this time. So I've decided that her magical girl animal motif is going to be a little Arctic bunny. I see a lot of these cute little guys where I live right now. They often have brown coats in the spring, and during the winter they go completely white. So I'm going to help that, or that's going to help me decide on my colors when I'm coloring her later, so it's not just totally random. I gave her a little magical girl scepter, and I made sure to incorporate both little bunny ears and a snowflake, so that again, it reinforces her design, it reinforces where she comes from and her fundamental motifs, the things that will keep her separate from the other characters in this story. So now I'm going to color her in, and as you can see, I still have by her side all of the sort of character traits of her own. Because this is just sort of a looser sketch rather than a final ink, I'm going to gray out the background so that we have a better sense of clarity about their silhouette. I've decided to give her pink red eyes like she's an albino bunny. I thought that would be cute and interesting, and that would also lean in more to her cool attitude. So I also gave her a little mini poncho. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but as you can see over her shoulders, there's a little transparent sheet that is a little mini poncho that will help her stay warm even when it's raining, or just, when her climate's getting too wet, and it would soak into her cute dress. I'm sticking to a very cold color palette with only tiny little pops of pink and reddish hues to sort of blend with her eyes more. But overall, I want her whole design to look wintry, so that it will match her climate. It also, just deciding on a main color will help your character look more unified and look better designed. And with that, she's done, and you've seen my main character design process. We don't actually need to clean her up with a proper ink because she is just a character design at this point, and it will help me in the future draw her accurately and help me sort of continue writing her story. So what should you do if you already have a character who's designed kind of like the girl on the right? Well, don't despair. You can actually salvage any character just by trying to add meaning to their stuff afterwards and just changing anything that doesn't really fit with their narrative. So now I'm just going to fix this little girl because, well, she's not a little girl. Fix this little character and try to make her design make more sense. So I've decided she lives in a deserty kind of area. I'm going to put black makeup around her eyes and underneath her eyes especially to protect her eyes from the glare of the sun. I'm going to make her ears bigger to be more like a fennec fox, a type of fox that actually lives in desert type areas. I'm taking that thick scarf off, and I'm instead going to cover her shoulders and neck with a thinner, longer cape-like thing that will help her not get terrible third-degree sunburns. And the way to show that it's thin is just by creasing it differently, and also during the coloring phase. So instead of putting random belts everywhere, I'm going to give her a belted water pouch because every living thing pretty much needs a good, healthy amount of water. So that's what she'll be carrying with her, and I'm using her kind of intense hip to help carry it. I'm blackening up her hands because I thought if she's literally part animal, it would be cool to have other elements of her follow through with that design. That's another thing. You can do all kinds of weird stuff and weird designs on your characters, even just for aesthetic reasons. And as long as you follow through and you make that a consistent thing in their design, it'll look a lot more compelling and a lot more fun. And less tacked on, basically. So if we add more elements to her that make her fox-like, that will help. Basically, I also gave her a tail because I feel like you can't have animal ears and not put the tail. In the coloring, I try to keep everything relatively light. You want the sun to reflect rather than absorb. The only part of her that is really dark is her black bra sort of thing. And that's actually for a sort of more practical reason. Just when you're designing a character, you want them always to be a little bit high contrast so that against any background they'll stand out. And I also darkened up her skin because I assumed that if she's a desert native, then and her family's been living there for generations, she's probably developed some melanin to protect her from the sun. And with that, I feel like she is a much stronger character. She's less cluttered for sure, and her design makes more sense. I hope this was helpful and fun to watch, and I hope you come to my stream. I'm so excited to do it. It's coming up really soon. I wanted to get this video done way earlier. Yeah, check out the link. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you, if not at the stream, then next week. A big thank you to my patrons, including Den, Brock, Juan Alvarez, Chartype, Libliblibli, Adrian Delport, Adrian Morales, at Liv Likes to Draw, Pinamel, Kate Meekins, and Muffins McGee. Thank you guys so much for your support.